You ever notice how sometimes life feels like it's falling apart exactly when you're trying your hardest to hold it together? Like every door you knock on stays closed, every plan you make crumbles, and every prayer you whisper feels unanswered, and you sit there wondering, why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But listen closely, because what feels like a setback to you might actually be the exact moment Allah is setting you up for something far greater than you can imagine. You see, we plan with limited vision. We plan based on what we want right now, based on what we think is best, based on the tiny piece of the picture we can see. But Allah plans with full knowledge from the first moment your soul was created until the last breath you'll ever take. He sees the danger ahead that you don't. He sees the blessings waiting for you that you can't. And sometimes the only way He can move you toward those blessings is by closing the doors you were never meant to walk through. Maybe you begged for a relationship to work, but it fell apart and you felt broken. What you didn't know was that Allah removed someone who would have destroyed your peace. Maybe you cried for a job you didn't get. What you didn't know was that the job would have drained your faith and stolen your joy. Maybe you asked for success now, but Allah delayed it because He knows that if He gave it too soon, it would become the very thing that ruins you. Allah's plan isn't meant to hurt you, it's meant to protect you. Sometimes His protection feels like discomfort. Sometimes His love feels like disappointment. And sometimes His mercy looks like heartbreak. But it's only when you look back that you'll realize everything was happening for you, not to you. Every delay was teaching you patience. Every test was strengthening your heart. Every loss was clearing space for something better. Every unanswered prayer was actually being answered with something far greater than what you asked for. So if you're in a season where nothing makes sense, where your heart feels heavy, or where your life feels stuck, don't lose hope. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. You're not being abandoned. You are being guided. You're not falling apart. You are being rebuilt by the one who knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. Remember this. The moment you surrender your plans to Allah is the moment peace enters your life. Because you stop forcing what was never written for you, and you start trusting what was always meant for you. Your job is to take the steps. Allah's job is to open the doors, and the doors that are written for you will never stay closed. So breathe, slow down, stop trying to understand everything all at once. Your heart is safe with the one who created it. Your future is secure with the one who wrote it. And your destiny is protected by the one who controls every moment of your life. Allah's plan is better than yours, not because yours is bad, but because His is perfect. He sees what you can't, He knows what you don't, and He loves you more than you'll ever understand. Trust Him. Trust the delays. Trust the detours. Trust the closed doors. Trust the timing. Trust the rewriting. Trust the redirection. Because one day you will look back and say, Alhamdulillah, now I understand why it had to happen this way. Your story isn't over, your prayers haven't been ignored, and your miracle is already on its way, written for you, long before you even asked. And maybe right now you're carrying a pain that nobody knows about. You smile in front of people, but your heart is tired. You tell everyone I'm fine, but late at night your pillow knows the truth. You've been praying for a change, praying for a way out, praying for a sign, and it feels like nothing is happening. But the truth is, everything is happening. Just not in the way you expect. Sometimes Allah doesn't change your situation instantly because He wants to change you first. He wants to strengthen your patience, deepen your faith, soften your heart, and draw you closer to Him. What good is a blessing if you're not ready for it? What good is success if you can't handle it? What good is love if you haven't healed yet? Allah delays not to deny but to prepare. Think about the moments you thought you wouldn't survive, but you did. The nights you thought your heart would break completely, but it didn't. The situations you thought were the end, but they became a beginning. You've already survived so much and you're still here. Not because you're strong, but because Allah carried you when you couldn't carry yourself, and He's still carrying you now. Every tear you cried, He saw it. Every dua you whispered, He heard it. Every time you held your tongue and stayed patient, He recorded it. Every time you trusted Him, even when you didn't understand, He rewarded it. Nothing you went through was for nothing. Nothing you lost went unnoticed. Allah never wastes the pain of a believer. What breaks you today will shape you tomorrow. And maybe right now you're asking, when will it get better? When will things change for me? The answer is simple: when Allah decides the time is right. And when that moment comes, nothing can stop what's written for you. Not people, not circumstances, not delays, not obstacles. What Allah has written for you will reach you even if it's buried under mountains. And what is not written for you will slip away even if it's already in your hands. So stop worrying about what you can't control. Stop stressing over things that were never in your power. Stop trying to understand every twist and turn of your life. Your job isn't to know the plan. Your job is to trust the planner. And when you finally let go of trying to control everything, you'll feel a peace you've never felt before. A peace that comes from knowing that Allah is taking care of you better than you could ever take care of yourself. You're not late. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You are exactly where Allah wants you to be in this moment. And sometimes the slowest journeys lead to the strongest destinations. Sometimes the quietest seasons prepare you for the loudest blessings. And sometimes the hardest battles produce the strongest believers. Allah's not ignoring you. He's arranging everything for you. He's lining up the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments. He's aligning your path with your purpose. Even when you don't see it, He is working. Even when you don't feel it, He is moving things for you. Even when you think nothing is happening, everything is happening in the unseen. One day, you will look back at this chapter of your life with tears of gratitude. You will thank Allah for every closed door, every delay, every heartbreak, every detour. You will say, Ya Allah, if you had given me what I wanted, I would have missed something so much better. And that moment will make everything make sense. Until then, keep going, keep believing, keep praying even when it hurts, keep trusting even when you're confused, keep holding on to Allah even when everything else slips away. Your story is still unfolding, and the best chapters haven't been written yet. What's coming is better than what you lost. What's ahead is greater than what's behind. Because when Allah guides your path, you never walk toward anything except goodness. And remember, you don't need to understand the plan to trust that it's perfect. You just need to trust the one who wrote it. And maybe the reason you're struggling right now is because Allah is pulling you away from the things that were slowly destroying you. Not everything that feels good is good for your soul. And not everything that hurts is harmful. Sometimes Allah lets your heart break so He can rebuild it stronger. Sometimes He lets you lose something so He can replace it with something better. Sometimes He lets you walk through darkness so you learn how to seek His light. You might think you're stuck, but what if Allah's actually saving you from rushing into something that would have ruined you? You might think your life is on pause, but what if Allah is aligning every piece so perfectly that when the time comes, everything falls into place beautifully? You might think nothing is changing, but what if everything is changing in silence? Your dua is not ignored. Your tears are not wasted. Your patience is not forgotten. Every moment you choose trust over worry, faith over fear, sabr over frustration, you are rising in rank without even realizing it. Allah sees you trying, even on the days you feel like you're failing. He sees the effort nobody else sees. He hears the prayers nobody else hears. He knows the battles nobody else knows you're fighting. And the truth is, Allah tests those He loves, not to break them, but to elevate them, not to punish them, but to purify them, not to push them away, but to pull them closer. Sometimes the blessing is not in what He gives, but in what He removes. Sometimes the protection is not in what He shows, but in what He hides. And sometimes the mercy is not in the yes, but in the no. So don't rush what Allah is taking His time preparing. Don't question why something didn't happen. Don't think your life is falling behind. What is written for you will arrive in ways you never expected, at a time you never predicted, through doors you never imagined would open. When Allah decides to bless you, He doesn't need conditions or logic. He just says be, and it is. And when that moment comes, you realize that every delay had wisdom, every tear had purpose, every setback had meaning, and every prayer was answered at exactly the right time. You'll understand that Allah was not silent. He was planning, He was arranging, He was shaping your path with a precision you couldn't see. Until that moment arrives, trust Him with all your heart, because the one who relies on Allah never loses, never falls unnoticed, and never ends up with something that wasn't meant to be a gift. And maybe right now you feel like you're walking through a storm with no shelter in sight. You keep telling yourself to stay strong, but your heart feels heavy, your mind feels tired, and your soul feels overwhelmed. You wonder why life keeps testing you, why certain people had to leave, why certain plans had to collapse, why certain prayers remain unanswered. But what if the storm you're facing isn't meant to drown you, but to wash away everything that was holding you back? Sometimes Allah shakes your life not to punish you, but to remove things you would never remove yourself. He knows what your heart clings to, and He knows what your soul truly needs. What you call loss might actually be Him clearing your path. What you call pain might actually be Him strengthening your faith. What you call confusion might actually be Him guiding you to something greater. You see, we often ask Allah for growth, but we don't realize that growth sometimes comes through discomfort. We ask for strength, but strength is built through struggle. We ask for wisdom, but wisdom is learned through hardship. We ask for peace, but peace is found after patience. Allah doesn't deny the believer, He develops them. And every time your heart aches, every time your plans fail, every time your world shifts without warning, you're learning something new about yourself, your strength, and most importantly, your Lord. You're learning that reliance on people breaks you, but reliance on Allah rebuilds you. You're learning that what is written for you will never miss you, and what is not meant for you will never stay. You're learning to surrender not because you're weak, but because you trust Allah more than you trust your own understanding. There will come a day when everything you're worried about now will become a memory. The things that kept you awake at night will no longer matter. The tears you cried will be replaced with gratitude. The prayers you whispered will be answered in ways more beautiful than you imagined. You look back and say, if even one thing had gone differently, I wouldn't be standing where I am today. And in that moment, you'll understand why Allah delayed, why He closed certain doors, why He protected you from things you thought you wanted. Your life is not a series of random events. Every chapter has purpose. Every moment has meaning. Every struggle has wisdom behind it. Allah knows the secrets of your heart. He knows what you don't say, what you hide, what you fear, what you dream of. And He knows the perfect timing for everything, a timing that never arrives early and never comes late. So breathe. You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need to understand the entire path. All you need to know is that Allah is with you in your sadness, with you in your confusion, with you in your loneliness, with you in your moments of doubt. He hasn't abandoned you. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't ignored a single dua that left your lips. Keep walking even when the road feels uncertain. Keep trusting even when you don't see results. Keep praying even when your hands feel tired. Because the story Allah is writing for you is far greater than the struggle you're living through. And when He finally reveals why things happened the way they did, you will fall into sujood with a heart full of gratitude and eyes full of tears. Allah's plan was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you into someone stronger, wiser, and closer to Him. And what He has written for you will always be worth the wait. And maybe the moment you're in right now feels heavy because Allah is preparing to lift you higher than you've ever been. Sometimes the hardest seasons come right before the biggest blessings. Sometimes the silence comes right before the breakthrough. Sometimes the emptiness comes right before Allah fills your life with something you once thought was impossible. You don't see the wisdom yet, but soon you'll realize every painful step was leading you somewhere beautiful. Hold on a little longer. What Allah has written for you is on its way, and when it arrives, you'll understand why the wait was necessary, why the tears were worth it, and why the plan had to unfold exactly this way. Trust Him, you're closer than you think. And maybe you don't realize it yet, but every single test you faced has been shaping you into someone stronger than you were yesterday. Allah is teaching you resilience in ways you'll only understand later. He's removing what was draining you, protecting you from what would have harmed you, and guiding you toward what will eventually bring you peace. You may feel alone, but every step you take with patience is a step closer to the life He has prepared for you.